Hello, my name is Noelle Fuller, and this is my final capstone project on Greek and Roman pottery. For my final capstone project, I will be comparing Roman and Grecian pottery by creating my own Roman and Greek inspired pots. This is relevant to our course because we talk about the Romans and the Greeks and their great artistic influence. Although similar in some aspects of their pottery, they are also very different. I have found the true artistry that they put towards their pottery and really admire their work. This took me 10 plus hours to do due to throwing the pieces, firing, painting them, as well as the research and presentation. I hope you enjoy. Here we have some examples of some Roman pottery. You can see a lot of the different forms, and they were typically very glazed in orange, and they had very decorative patterns on them as seen in the top left. This is what I used for inspiration for my pot. Here we see some examples of pots for some Greek pottery. You can see they have some differentiating handles. They have black and orange, and they have figures on the front. They often depicted a story and were very detailed and very elaborate. Here is my video. So here I am starting my pots. I am on a wheel, so this is probably not traditionally how they would have done it. It would not be electric. They would have been hand spinning the wheel, but they would have been using clay like I have and similar techniques with their own hand-built tools. So I made one form and I'm trying to make another one. I believe this form fails and I ruin it. I'm pretty sure. Let's see what happens. I think I turn it into a cup later or something. Or it turns out okay. Yeah, there we go. I ruined it. Anyway. This one turns out to be a cup. Something I did miss on doing was I missed on carving my Roman pot, and so instead I just had to make the details like flat on paint, which I feel sad about. I forgot I had to carve all those details on it. Granted, this was during finals and I was panicking a little, but here I am making, I think this is the Grecian pot, and they are a little bit more, they have a wide variety of shapes, and I chose this shape because it was most interesting and I thought it would have the most space to depict something on the front. So here I am. I think I accidentally took a slow-mo video. So here I am slow brushing the bottom of my pot. I'm making the foot of the pots. I'm trying to make them so they can stand right, and here I am putting on those coils on the edges of the pots, the handles. That's for the Grecian one, and for the Roman, I just did two very simple handles. Here's some gorgeous close-ups. This is pre-fired, and yeah, so the one on the right is a Greek pot, and the one on the left was the Roman. During my filming, my phone had died, so I missed a lot of part of my painting process, specifically of the Greek pot, so I feel really sad. I'm working on the Roman pot right now. I made it orange, and I made a detailed decorative design for the front of it. And for the Greek pot, I used black, and I made a Medusa head with snakes going all around it, and used a technique called sgraffito, which you would carve into the paint layer on top to make a design. That's what they would do for a lot of their figure work. Here's a close-up of my Greek pot, of that sgraffito. That's a design on top that was often seen, and there's my Medusa head with the snakes. I chose this because I think the Medusa story from Greek literature and myths is very cool. Um, and I was born year of the snake, which isn't related to Greece, but snakes, so it related. Anyway, I was pretty proud of it. Here's my Roman pot. You can see quite the difference of Roman pots were typically orange and they were a little bit more simple in design and they had more florals, more patterns to it. I did a similar pattern to that one I showed earlier in the slideshow and I did it all around the pot and I did some lovely accents on the top and bottom of it. This the handles on the side were often seen in Greek pots as well. Sometimes they would overlap because of the closeness of the two civilizations. Romans were often inspired by the Greek and their pots, and so there's a little bit of overlap that happens, but I think these two pots show the main differences of how they grew apart a little bit and how they differentiated. Often Roman pots were a little bit more useful. They wouldn't care about the intricacy and the decorum of the Greek pots. That's what they would use their pots for telling stories and more decoration, versus Romans would use their pots as, you know, for their oil, for pouring all their olive oil, for their wine, for table settings and normal things you use with ceramics compared to decoration. Of course, they still would decorate their pots and they would make them very beautiful, but they were more focused on how you can use them versus the decorum. Here they are again, another slide. These took very long to do, and I'm very proud of them, and I think they look really cool. Here's my works cited for all of the research that I did, and thank you for joining me.